Nice and sunny, not too hot. It'll be good.
Nice.
Day.
Well, the weather's starting to warm up here in Northern California too. Memorial Day weekend, gonna get the boat out and get out early before everyone else. And then of course, barbecue, it'll be fun. Should be a nice weekend. So, hey, what's happening, Brett? Good morning. How are you?
What's going on, guys? Everybody, gals, everybody, hello.
Hey, Megan, how's it going?
Going good.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you for your help the other day, Megan. You were awesome.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I liked your feedback. It looks good.
Yeah,
Treva, how's Treva today?
I'm really well. Thanks, Tom.
Awesome. What's the
Thank
weather
you.
doing in your neck of the woods? You're in Colorado, right?
Yes, this is correct. It would be beautiful, but we've got a lot of smoke from the fires in Canada. It's just been completely terrible air quality, hazy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, they're talking the fire season's going to be pretty bad this year with all the fuel that rain created. But anyway, hey, let's go ahead and get started. Andrea Beam is our host today. Andrea, how are you?
Fantastic. I am
Awesome.
fantastic.
Well, I'll turn things over to you, and we're excited.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much. I am really stoked today to bring your special speaker, somebody that I've gotten to know over the last year or so. He's on my team and he's just rocking it in his first year in real estate. He just hit his 1-year mark. And the reason I'm bringing him in here to have him share with you guys is because he had a particular strategy that he implemented that really gained him some serious amount of momentum. He has put 5 homes under contract and taken 3 listings in the last 20 days.
Wow.
So he is cooking. He is cooking. And, he spent before this, how many years was it? 18? I always forget the exact number. 18 years working in the prison.
8 years in the prison.
8 years. Sorry, not 18. I'm trying to make you older.
Yeah.
Had an 8 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knows hard work ethic, and he just had to figure out the thing that was really going to tweak his business, and he did. And he's really focused hard on it. And so Ricky Cedillo, I'm going to let you take the floor and pour your knowledge into us, my man.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for the introduction, Andrea, and hello, everybody. Good morning. So first of all, how many of you have a specialty, or how many of you, not specialty, how would I say this? So who focuses really hard on like social media? Who lead gens from social media? Anybody specifically? No.
Yeah, right there. We got
a couple. Yeah, a couple.
Julie,
Awesome.
Kristen.
Yeah, awesome. So this strategy mixed with social media lead generation is kind of what I've seen works for me. And so obviously I want to just share this knowledge with you. And if it works, fantastic. I've seen that at the very least, what it does is that it will fill your funnel full of a ton of people. And the way I came across this was actually by accident. I got a listing, and here in Oregon, we have in the Willamette Valley, a bunch of different really small towns with like 10,000, 4,000 people. So there's not a whole lot of specific advertising to those smaller towns. And so, for example, this home that I got was in a town called, or listing I got was in a town called Sweet Home. That's the name of the town. And I looked on Sweet Home. I had the marketing director make me a graphic to advertise my house for sale. And I could not find anything in that town where I could advertise besides like community forums saying, what's happening in Sweet Home. There was really nothing I could push out there on my social media, which is my main source of lead generation. So, I started thinking about it. I was like, well, shoot, I'll make my own. And that's kind of how I stumbled across this idea. I'm sure it's not an original idea. I've seen other things like this before, but not done in the way that I do it. So what I did is I created this group in Sweet Home as kind of like a test run, just so that I had a place to advertise my client's listing. I wanted to make sure to get it out there. I put it everywhere else as well, but I was like, well, let's do this little test run. So I created this group, and within the first 3 days, I had 70 members. And I
And
was like,
Ricky, this group is on Facebook, correct?
yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is on Facebook specifically. And so I made this group, first 3 days, 70 members. I was like, oh, okay, that went a little bit quicker. I was not expecting really any members, to be honest. And then kind of a light popped, and I was like, well, there's a little bit more that I could be doing. And so my target area is a different town. And so what I did is I created the same group. And what these groups are is it says, I titled it Homes for Sale / Rent. And I named it this because I want people who are joining to know that it's real estate specific. We're only talking about homes for sale, and I included renters because renters are future business, right? Whether they buy a year from now, 2 years from now, it could be somebody who's potentially going to buy. So I included those groups, that group of people as well. So I created that same group in my target farm area, and I named it the same thing, Homes for Sale or Rent Group. And when you join a group, sometimes it makes you answer questions, right? And so I made it so people had to answer questions as they joined the group. And this is where I think it kind of started taking off, because I asked 3 questions. So I asked, are you considering buying or selling a home? This is what they have to answer when they go into the group. And it's a multiple choice, and they can only choose one. And it's yes, 0 to 6 months, yes, 6 to 12 months, no, or I'm looking for a rental. Okay, so there's those 4 options. So that way you have an idea of where they are and when they plan on buying or selling a home. The next one is, are you working with a realtor? Out of respect, you want to give them the opportunity to say, hey, look, yeah, I am working with a realtor. I'm just here to, browse the page. So that's great if they are. So the answers for that one are yes, no, I am a realtor, or I am a lender, because it would be good to know who are the other people in your profession that join that group as well. And the last one, and then this is the big one that you want to really pay attention to and make sure that you have in your group as a question to enter, is it okay for a local trusted realtor or a licensed trusted realtor to reach out to you and explain the buying selling process? And again, they have 2 answers, yes, please, or no, thank you. And the amount of people out of that very first group, that 70 people joined in 3 days, that wanted me to reach out to them to discuss that process was at least 50%.
Ricky, real quick, I'm sorry. Is it okay for a local trusted realtor to reach out and explain what?
The buying / selling process.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So each person that came in, they came in really, really fast. People just started coming in really quick. And I was like, kind of like, oh, okay, something's going on here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stay organized. So I was kind of winging it at first. And so, what I did, and you learn a lot over time. So I've been doing this, I'm on my 4th month now doing this. And I've learned so much, even in that 4 months, on how to do this the best, most efficient way. And I'll cut through all the things that I had to learn to get here. But number 1 would be, anybody who says yes, reach out to me, add them as a friend. Add them as a friend, and then message them right away. Have a template. I have 2 templates. One of them is for people who marked, yes, please reach out to me. I would love to hear more about the buying selling process. The other template I have is for when people say, no, I don't want you to reach out to me and explain the buying selling process, but they've put, they do want to make a real estate move in either 0 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months. And they're a little bit different. And so for the first one, when they say, yes, I want you to reach out to me and explain the process, it goes something like, hi, my name is Ricky Cedillo. I am the admin and creator of this group, XYZ. And you marked this saying that you wanted a licensed realtor to reach out to you. What can I do to help? Or are you planning to make a move soon? Prompt them to answer a question. That is the first template. The next template, because they didn't want me to reach out to explain the process, at least that's what they put on there. What I say is, hey, I see that you marked that you're going to make a move in the next 0 to 12 months or whatever. So I just wanted to reach out to you to let you know that I'm the creator and admin of the page. I am a licensed realtor. And if you have any questions, I am here as a resource for you. I hope you find what you're looking for on this page, right? You don't ask them a question. You don't want, I respect that they didn't want me to reach out to them to explain the process. So what I do is I just say, hey, I am here as a resource, just so that they know. So those are the 3 questions that I ask every person, and I add every person that.
You put those in the chat, those 3 questions, Ricky. That was awesome because you just like you have that. So I'm trying to write it all down.
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Oh, cool.
This should be in there.
Cool. Thank you, Andrea. So with that being said, I kind of went all in on this group idea. And as I mentioned, here in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, we have so many towns. And I mean, I'm sure just like a lot of you have just a ton of surrounding area that you guys can cover. And so what I did is I created 7 groups because this was working so well with my first 2 test groups, right? And I created 7 groups on kind of like the 7 main places that I know people buy in the area. And what we did is on the team, certain members of our team, Andrea's team, we kind of focus in different areas, so different cities. And so I would create a group and hand that off to somebody who's more focused in that area. With that, however much engagement you put towards these groups is however many members you're going to get. I have a lot of tips and tricks on how to increase the amount of people that you are getting in these groups. And one of the main ones is interaction, right? So I encourage realtors and lenders, title reps, anybody in our profession to post. So if another realtor wants to advertise themselves, great, awesome. That's a post in the group. That is engagement people will get. And that is people that will help, encourage that realtor to advertise their listings when they get listings. And then they're doing the heavy lifting for you. But at first, when you start these groups, it's pretty time consuming. You have to make sure to engage a lot. You have to make sure that you're inviting people and not just inviting people. So if you're on other Facebook groups like Maine, let's say, let's use Albany. So we're here in Albany. Let's say an Albany group site is called What's Up Albany, and they have like 10,000 members already. So I do multiple things. Anybody who is talking about real estate, looking for a rental, anybody who has already promoted their listing, I go in their comments and I say, hey, that's awesome. I hope you find the place you're looking for. Feel free to post in this group as well. There's a ton of people looking for rentals, or there's a ton of people looking for this type of home. And almost instantly they'll go into the group and they'll become a member and then advertise in that group. The other thing that I do is I just make a post in those groups saying, hey, here is a solely focused real estate group. If you are looking to buy, sell a home, or rent, join this group. There's going to be a ton of information or resources for you in this group. Those are some of the main things that I do. So anytime I see somebody posting about real estate, I'm shoving these groups. I'm always pushing out these groups.
So Ricky, one of the questions that was in the chat, just to make sure I answered her correctly, was, are you making the groups public or private when you first generate them?
Yeah, public. I've made them all public. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the difference a whole lot. I think maybe because if I remember correctly, if they're private, somebody, when you share or tag somebody, they can't see it unless they join the group, I think. But
Yeah, they
for
can't
people-
see the comments or the posts in there if it's private.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, if your group is providing enough value, they're going to want to join the group. And so the way that I provide value in my groups is multiple different ways. Is I'm posting, so I will, if I don't have a listing, I will ask other realtors in my area, maybe other business partners or other realtors that I've created a relationship with already, and say, hey, that's an awesome listing. Would you mind if I advertise this on my group page if they haven't already? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a yes. You will occasionally get a no. Well, whatever, advertise how you like. But that's one way that I engage with the group and provide value. I make Instagram reels, or not Instagram, just reels in general. Whether it be informational reels or family reels or introductory reels, I make videos and I post in those groups as well. I will do virtual open houses. So I will go live in that group and show a home and just show. So if we're in Albany, I'll go to an Albany home and say, hey, you guys can get this home right now. It is on the market live today, or, for 3 days. And, let me show you this house. It's awesome. It's right down the road from X, Y, and Z. And so if they know the Albany area, they know where that is. And I'll do a virtual tour. But it will be in the group. You can do a live on your personal page, but you can also do a live in the group. And when you do a live in the group, then all those people can see it. And then it remains in that group for 30 days or however long.
So Eric, Eric, I was sorry, I was looking at Eric's question. Ricky, Eric has a question about, is it legal to share MLS listings in general without having permission, since it is just a public link? I think what he was referring to also was your potentially, and Eric, tell me if I'm wrong on this, when you were talking about, you do the walkthroughs, right? You do a live in that group. You're getting permission to go and do a live, at a listing. You get permission to, it's kind of like a showing, right? You get permission to also go and put it live. And so you do have permission to do that. Eric, is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm like, if there's a house that's a really cool house and I want to say, hey, this is a really interesting house that's for sale. I'm not trying to say I'm listing it. I'm just sharing within this, all of it. If it's a public, link, is that going to get us in trouble with the local MLS board or anything?
So it depends on how you're sharing it. If you're doing a live and you have permission to do the live, then
Right.
You're covered. And clearly you would want to do that in email so you have it in writing. If you're just sharing a link, I think every state's going to be different. So I hesitate to answer that question, because how Oregon is may not be how any other state is.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say too, to Eric, something that you brought up was that just made me think of this, is one of the things that Ricky did that I was really impressed by is he invited realtors into the group, right? And one would think, oh, why would I want to invite realtors into the group? Why would I want to do that? Because I'm creating this group, right, to get leads. But the reality is that these realtors are engaging in this group as well. They're bringing more people into the group. But Ricky is the only one, you guys, that gets the answers to the questions when they join the group. He's the only admin, right? I think actually, well, I take that back. I think I'm on there as well as an admin, but all of the answers go directly to Ricky. So they're not going to the other real estate agents. They're not going to anyone else within the group. So it's filling Ricky's pipeline. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So hugely beneficial to have those other real estate agents in the group and have that partnership and that camaraderie. I mean, what a great way to form bonds with other realtors within your area by not excluding them.
Right.
But Ricky's still the one that gets the answers to the questions.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been really huge, because you're the first one also to see comments or posts being made. So if somebody says, hey, not sure how to start the process, are there any realtors on here? Well, you get to approve that post. So you're the first one that gets to see that, and you can be the first one to reach out to them. Obviously, once you've made contact or try to make contact, you want to make sure to post it, right? So that way, if you get the first opportunity to build that relationship, and then after that, you can, allow other people, if you like, or however you want to run your group is how you run your group. I try to be as, transparent as possible and let them know like, hey, it's pending, but I wanted to reach out to you, before you had about 35, 40 comments on your post. That's worked out very well as well. Also, anytime I do a live or post a link, every single time I'm giving credit to the listing agent. So I'm always putting, hey, this home is listed by, Andrea Beam, eXp Realty. And just so that, like I said, I like to just be as transparent and, as honest as possible. So I do that. And a reason to also, kind of touching on what Andrea is saying, to invite those other realtors or real estate professionals, is because I can give you an example. So for the first 3 months of, let's say, my bigger group, which is Salem Kaiser, and by bigger group I mean the bigger city that we have that are that I created, they have about 177,000 people in the Salem Kaiser area. And so the first 3 months, so up until April, we had about 276 members in that group. And then like I said, I was adding other realtors, other people. And then just without doing a whole lot, I haven't done a whole lot. I have 7 groups, so it's really hard for me to make sure that I'm posting in every single group as consistently as I wanted to. However, the groups are still growing. So just in 1 month, so from April to yesterday, when I made sure to get all my numbers correctly, from April to yesterday, we had an additional 240 people. So that's almost double in a month. And it's because I've seen other realtors posting their listings. Salem is a huge place, so they want to promote their listing also everywhere. So those groups are steady growing. Up until April, when I last did a check on my numbers, so April we had 1,747 total members in all 7 groups. And then now in May, we have almost 2,900. So those are 2,900 people. Now, obviously, like I said, some of them are realtors and lenders, but even if you take half of that, that's 1,500 people that are looking already to do something real estate related, whether it's buying, selling, or renting. So, and that's half. I doubt I have 1,500 realtors in those groups, but maybe, I don't know. But I know for sure that when I reach out to somebody, I've been able to have a good conversation. I find out where they're at, and then I just fill this funnel of people interested in the real estate market. So
you guys think about those numbers that he's sharing for just a minute. How many other lead gen sources can you name that are, number one, free? Number two, has an incoming flow, right? You're not the one making the call out, has an incoming flow of potential leads, and 2,900 people that are answering those 3 questions that he said earlier. So just from simple math, right? I mean, real estate is simple numbers. We don't need to overcomplicate it. If half of those people, if even a third of those people, if even a quarter of those people say yes, is that not a huge boost to the momentum in your business? And you're not paying thousands of dollars to get those leads, right? I mean, the creativeness, I think, behind this, in the sense of it being free and it being an incoming lead source, the amount of leads that he's getting from it, and just from a pure numbers standpoint, the conversion ratio there is huge. Who doesn't want to fill their pipeline? I posted that in here early, hashtag fill your pipeline. Doesn't matter if they're 6 months out. You guys should always be filling your pipeline, right? Not everyone you talk to is going to be I'm buying today, but you got to ask the questions to find out, are they 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out, and you nurture them. So phenomenal tool in your tool belt, in my opinion, and listening to his strategy and watching him do it live over the last couple of months has been pretty phenomenal. Now, one thing I would say, just from a coaching standpoint, is he did 7, right? He did 7. Some of that, there's some backstory too. I don't recommend you run out and try to do 7. I would go hyper local. That's the beauty of what makes this program work that Ricky's doing, is that it is hyper local. You find a smaller area and start there, right? You want to own an area, become an expert in an area, then you pick one of those, like a suburb or a big neighborhood. You know, everyone's geographic is going to be a little bit different, but start small to go big. Don't try to jump in with 7 right out of the gate. I don't necessarily recommend that. Do you guys have any other questions for Ricky and his process? That we are at 9:25. I think we probably got time for maybe just like 2 more questions, and then we'll hand it over to Tom to wrap us up here. Oh,
Well,
Don says, Ricky, could you put the name of your group so we may follow it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, and just, that's great, Ricky. I really appreciate it. It's a great strategy. And I was just curious, Tom, if you know, because you do a lot of social media and you're in California, does it, is it legal to put the listings? Can you promote just links on the online on Facebook and stuff like that? Or is that, you know, frowned upon on the MLS?
You're muted, Tom. Tom, you're muted.
I'm not sure, but I'll find out. So this is just a great, who else has some questions here? Let's see, Julie?
Hey, Tom. Ricky, on your group, I understand that you do reels, posts, and stay active on there with virtual tours and informational stuff. Do you allow any members of the group to post anything on there? Like, for example, if somebody that was a member of the group has a rental property that's coming up, do you allow them to pitch that or no?
Yeah, I encourage that, actually, especially everybody wants a private landlord, right? So if a person wants to do that, I don't monitor them. I don't manage them as much. I say, look, here's the group. I'm not going to nitpick what goes on there, what doesn't. I know of some certain scams that go on. So like, and what they look like. Not all of them, obviously, but I know like there's a lot of duct cleaning ones that go on that are scams, and some rental ones that are scams. You just kind of have to be look into it a little bit before you let them post. But for the most part, I don't manage it a whole lot as far as what's coming in.
So the answer is we can post our own listings, but you do have to have permission for posting any other agent's listings. So as long as you have permission, it's open game. It's pretty exciting.
One last thing, I want to give you guys an idea. So if you guys have a partner, and this was a big one, if you guys have a partner and a lender that you guys trust, I've partnered with a lender and I've made them an admin of the group, with the understanding that, hey, look, you know, if we can use each other, so if you are able to comment and like and do all the things and get these questions answered, you know, I will send them to you on this group, you send them to me, and we have a good partnership that way. So if they come in on the group, then, you know, it's likely that you can have a lender help you with that as well. So you just, if you have a good partnership with them, then that benefits you both. You're both contributing to the group, and you're both getting leads out of it.
Hey, Ricky, what's the name of the group? I'm not seeing in the chat. What's the name of the group?
So I have 7, so I'll send those. So they're all the same. So they're all whatever the city is, and then homes for sale rent.
Ricky, you had mentioned about you said you had a couple template like form letters or whatever that you use for responses and stuff. Would you be willing to share that? I do a lot of social media posting, and probably most of my business comes off of social media, but just trying to, you know, figure out and tweak responses for my own, you know, usage and stuff. And it's nice to be able to see others and how they do it, to maybe something that I can incorporate into what I'm doing now.
You bet. I just put them both in the chat there. I customize them to the person. So I'll say, you know, I'll say, hi, Kristen, welcome to the group, Independence Monmouth Homes for Sale. And so I change those 2 things depending on where they came from and which group. And so that way it looks a little bit more personalized, but okay, the rest of the template's the same.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on here, Ricky, and sharing your strategy that's been working so well for you to gain you momentum. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your morning to just pour knowledge into everybody that was able to be here today. And thank you for all of you guys that were able to come. I hope that you guys got value out of this. And Tom, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrea. And thank you so much, Ricky. This is just great. I love the fact that you grabbed this strategy and you're consistent. I mean, we don't have to be great. We just have to be consistent. And oh my gosh, what a funnel that you have filled. And you're solving people's problems. I mean, because right now people need clarity, and you can answer questions, provide clarity for the real estate questions. So, so I love that. Okay, don't forget this Friday, Freedom Friday at 9 a.m. And also don't forget Byrd is coming up July 10th, 11th, and 12th. It's going to be in San Antonio, Texas. It's going to be amazing. And all of you all that are local, we have tomorrow at the Placer County Association of Realtors in Roseville, Bill Pipes, 10 to noon. Don't miss it. So thanks, y'all. See you later. Good job.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky.
Andrea, that was great. Thank